Hey fam, how's it going? In today's video, we have Zane and his Cyber Dragons. Let's get right to it. For the skill card, we have Forbidden Cyber Style Technique. For monsters, we have 3 Cyber Dragons, 3 Dekochis, and 3 Cyber Phoenix. For spells, we have 3 Cosmic Cyclones, 3 Creature Swaps, 1 Hammer Shot, 2 Polymerizations, and 1 Overload Fusion. And then for the single trap, we have 1 Waking the Dragon. Oh, and sorry fam, I almost forgot the extra deck. My bad. So for the extra deck, we have 2 Cyber End Dragons, 2 Chimera Tech Over Dragons, 1 Destiny End Dragoon, and 1 Cyber Blader. How to win / strategies. Now before we go over the strategies part, let's review the skill card, Forbidden Cyber Style Technique. It reads, activate this skill once per duel, if your life points are 1500 or less and you control no monsters. Reduce your life points to 50, then special summon up to 3 machine cyber monsters from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. They each become Cyber Dragon. Machine, light, level 5, attack 2100, defense 1600, and cannot be tributed. For the rest of this turn, you cannot summon or set except by fusion summoning, nor attack except with fusion monsters. Destroy any monsters summoned by this skill during your end phase. Now, Konami did an excellent job of making this making this skill card fair and playable. In my opinion, a tad bit conditional, but it's playable. Like, if it were up to me, I would totally take out the and you control no monsters part, because it's hard enough that we have to get our life points down to 1500 or less, and when we activate this skill, our life points are going down to 50, right? So my point is that I need every resource I can use against my opponent, especially if I'm gonna come from behind and steal victory, which is what this deck does. So yeah, Forbidden Cyber Style Technique. So to win with this deck fam, we have to do 2 things, which is 1, control the field, whether it's monsters or back row, and 2, we have to build up our resources while controlling the field. So allow me to explain each card and their role in this deck. And we'll start with Dekochi. So the reason why Dekochi is in the deck, because it allows us to build up our resources with its effect, that when it's flipped, we draw 1 card. So, turn 1, we're gonna set it, and then best case scenario fam is if the opponent does nothing on their turn, just like set a monster or 2, and then come our turn, we can flip Dekochi, draw that extra card, and then we creature swap it, and then, assuming we have a Cyber Dragon in hand, we contribute the opponent's monster and destroy our own Dekochi, and it leaves the opponent with nothing. And also fam, the fact that Dekochi is a machine, meaning we can use it as fuel for Chimera Tech Over Dragon with Overload Fusion. Isn't that pretty nifty? And lastly, the fact that Dekochi has decent stats, more emphasis on the 1400 attack. So if we needed to push for game, Dekochi could help out with that. So as you can see, Dekochi is a great utility card for this deck. Next, let's go over Cyber Phoenix. It reads, while this card is in attack position, negate any spell or trap effects that target 1 machine monster you control and no other cards. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can draw 1 card. So as you can see, Cyber Phoenix provides protection for Cyber Dragon and itself, as long as of course that spell or trap card only targets 1 monster, 1 machine monster. But for me, the more important effect is the when it's destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, we get to draw 1 card. So what I like to do with Cyber Phoenix is definitely creature swap it away, whether it's just normal summoning Cyber Phoenix and activating creature swap, or we special summon Cyber Dragon first, then normal summon Cyber Phoenix, and then we creature swap. So as you can see, when Cyber Phoenix and Dekochi combine with creature swap, that helps us somehow control the field. And then along with Hammer Shot, which is just purely a tech choice, it helps us contain the opponent so that their field doesn't get too wild, and we get to build up our resources because Cyber Phoenix and Dekochi allow us to draw. So that's what I mean by controlling the field in that aspect. So when it comes to controlling the field back row wise though, fam, this is what we'll do. We're gonna resort to Cosmic Cyclone, which is pay 1000 life points, then target one spell or trap on the field and banish it. So not only does Cosmic Cyclone get rid of back row, but it helps us get closer to activating our skill card, because remember, we have to have 1500 life points or less. So Cosmic Cyclone, the fact that we play 3 of these, is going to help us achieve getting to 1500 life points sooner rather than later. And here's another way to deal with the opponent's back row, fam. It's with Cyber Dragon. So let's say your opponent has 2 back rows, right? Just imagine 2 back rows here, and they have a monster. So the fact that we can special summon Cyber Dragon just like that, that's already pressuring the opponent to activate something, because 2100, it's very formidable, especially in a 4000 life point format. And even if Cyber Dragon gets back rowed via, let's say, Floodgate, don't worry about it, fam. You're gonna be just fine, because we can still use that face down Cyber Dragon as fusion materials for polymerization. What matters here though is that we were able to force our opponent to use one of their power cards. That's what we're trying to do here, so that when we activate our skill and go for game, it should be no problem. The obstacles should be out of the way. Because honestly, this deck's weakness is back row, is the opponent's back row, because, you know, all they have to do is stun our plays. Shoot, even with Book of Moon or something as simple as that, and the duel is heavily in their favor, because remember, once we use our skill, we only have 50 life points left. We can't take the slightest bit of damage. That's why if we can clear the back row at all times, our chances of winning are considerably higher. So again, we clear back row with Cosmic Cyclone and just the special summoning of Cyber Dragon. We're trying to bait the opponent to activate their back row. So yeah, fam, that's how you win with the deck, with control and building resources. And those are achieved with Dekochi, Creature Swap, and Cyber Phoenix. And then we try to control the back row with Cyber Dragon special summoning and Cosmic Cyclone. And once everything is cleared or victory is within sight and the conditions are just right, then we can steal victory. Card analysis. The skill card Forbidden Cyber Style Technique, mainly for Cyber Dragons. It's a excellent skill card, but again, in my humble opinion, it's a little bit conditional because we have to have no monsters. And the fact that, yeah, we can bring out 3 Cyber Dragons, but the thing is, we can't really fuse with the skill card. But then again, that might be some extra cheese at that point, huh? But yeah, it's good job Konami for giving us a playable skill card. And then we run Cyber Dragon because obviously it's the main theme of the deck. You can't run this deck without it. Aside from it from being a great offensive beater, you know, special summon right away, you can also use it to bait the opponent's back row. And then we run the 3 Dekochi and the 3 Cyber Phoenixes with the intent of being able to draw at every opportunity. Because remember, with this deck, we're not going to always open up strongly. So turn 1, we're probably just going to be setting and playing defense until we gather up resources. And the fact that Dekochi, as mentioned earlier, has 1400 attack, so it can help us push for game, but more importantly, it's also a machine. So meaning we're going to have more fuel for Chimera Tech over Dragon. And then don't forget about Cyber Phoenix, that it has that built-in protection effect against spell and traps that target one machine monster. So it'll come in handy in some situations. And then we run Creature Swap to help us somehow control the field a little bit better when dealing with the opponent, because we don't want our opponent going too wild. So the main play here is to creature swap the opponent's monsters so that we can really keep them at bay while we build up our resources to bring out the Cyber End Dragon. And then the 3 Cosmic Cyclones, because not only does it get rid of back row for us, but it helps us get to the condition of Forbidden Cyber style technique that wherein our life points have to be 1500 or less. So 3 Cosmic Cyclone helps us achieve that sooner rather than later. And then the Polymerization and the Overload Fusion. Now the 2 Polymerizations and the 1 Overload Fusion, in my playtesting, this is the ratio that works for me, because we want to be able to see Polymerization as soon as possible or first, because yeah, Forbidden Cyber style technique is great and all, but if we don't have Polymerization in hand, this skill card it's useless. So ideally, fam, the situation would be this. You activate the skill card, you get your 3 Cyber Dragons, because you bring out Cyber Phoenix, and those would be considered Cyber Dragons. But the thing is, once you have your 3 Cyber Dragons out on the field, you activate Polymerization first, and then we'll activate Overload Fusion, because Overload Fusion can use fusion materials from the graveyard. And then Hammer Shot, now this is purely just a tech choice. This is just to help deal with anything too troublesome, and we want to keep our opponent's field at a bare minimum so that when we activate Creature Swap, we'll have more advantage when dealing with the opponent. And then 1 Waking the Dragon. Okay, again, this is also purely a tech choice. Now with this 1 copy of Waking the Dragon, I have found it to be extremely effective, especially game 1, because your opponent is going to be, theoretically and psychologically, your opponent is going to be so eager to destroy any back row that we may have. But if you notice, this deck doesn't really play defense. So when the opponent sees that we set 1 card, they're probably going to have Breaker or some form of back row removal ready to go. So game 1, Waking the Dragon is going to be super effective. You'll get it off, I'd say 9 times out of 10. And then obviously come game 2 and 3, you're going to side this out. So yeah, that's why Waking the Dragon is in the deck. Tech preference. This is purely tech preference at this point. And then let's go over the extra deck real quick. We've got 2 Cyber End Dragons, Chimera Tech Over Dragon, 2 of them, and then 1 Destiny End Dragoon and 1 Cyber Blader. These are just Waking the Dragon targets. And then I feel like Cyber End Dragon and Chimera Tech, self-explanatory. So yeah, that's the deck, fam. So where does this deck rank on the power scale? In my humble opinion, this deck is semi-competitive. And the reason why I feel like it's semi-competitive, fam, is because we really can steal games so quick and so fast. Because, again, this deck doesn't play any defense. So getting our life points down lower, just enough to activate our skill card, it's very achievable. And the fact that we have the 3 Cosmic Cyclones to get there sooner rather than later, yeah, we're going to be Cyber Ending the opponent more often than not. And the fact that Cyber End Dragon can do piercing damage too, that's everything for this deck, for the win condition. And then what also makes it great, this deck, is that the cards in the deck can be easily swapped out, come games 2 and 3. Like for example, the Waking the Dragon, Hammer Shot, and Shoot. Maybe even Overload Fusion. So yeah, when this deck is accompanied with a great side deck, we can go places. We can win with this deck. Now granted, the only issue we're going to have with this deck is getting to Polymerization as soon as possible. But again, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because we have the Kochi and Cyber Phoenix that will allow us to draw at every opportunity. And then when we combine that with Cyber Dragon and Creature Swap, to help somehow control the field, keep the opponent at bay while we're gathering up our resources and hoping to draw into Polymerization or Overload, we should be just fine, fam. We should be just fine. So that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to hit the like button. Helps me out a lot. And if you enjoyed me, your Speed Duel bro, you're more than welcome to subscribe. Because if you love speed duels, I'm sure you'll love me too, your Speed Duel bro. And always remember, I always play to win. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.